Working on this big scripted video. I'd say I'm close to the conclusion of it, but I don't know. I might make some tune-ups. Really, it's about a lot of different things that are all kind of united around the same narrative, which is that society, the rotten society, right, has really failed to give people incentives to do things. Um, there was a goof, and the first time I saw this guy was actually all the way at the end of last year when I did my end of 2024 video. And he wrote this, like, I responded to him in the video, but he came on the video I did on, like, people thinking I was shy, and he's like, this attitude is off, and anytime you work somewhere, you should always try your best. And, he really misses the point in terms of being able to understand that if an employee is working to a degree that is satisfactory to their company, to where they retain the person week after week, month after month, but then because the company is either not making as much money as they used to, or some other external factor, the hours and usage of that employee dwindles to the point where they literally cannot afford to live anywhere. They can barely, they just cannot live off the little tiny bits of pieces of scraps that they're making from this, barely using them more than once a week or even less than that job. You effectively provide the employee with no incentives to care about retaining that job. Like, and also just to the performance thing, why would you care about, like the guy said, do your best? What, who the hell would care to do their best or try if they know that no matter how good of a job they do, they are going to get one shift a week or less? Again, where is the incentive to show any type of concern or uh, regard for the job that you have? If the job doesn't care about you to where it doesn't barely use you, why should you care about it? Just like when I was sitting up there talking about those bimbos calling me into the office about somebody, you don't say hi to us. Like, yeah, maybe somebody would say hi if they could actually live off of this stupid job. The other example I gave, and I did a video about this too, but it's going to require some separate thing. So, years ago, and it's not as often now, it just, for whatever reason, maybe the tide is turning, maybe more people are waking up. But years ago, I used to get mocked over not having a girlfriend. And I really, as someone who was just online for so long and you kind of just take it in, it's like whatever. But I started to kind of think to myself, what good would being in a, romantic relationship be if it's with a woman that you cannot touch, this long distance relationship crap, or one who does not share the same long term desires as you, right? Like, having kids, getting married, etc. And once I started to really think about those things, I could see chicks I thought were attractive, all year round and still not feel any incentive in terms of wanting to approach and or ask them out. Because as I've said, I don't see the point of engaging in these weeks and months long exchanges if the end result is going to be something that I know from the outset is undesirable. But I was thinking about the last woman I was like semi even wanting to do anything romantic with. It didn't get to the point of me asking her out or anything. So my record of not asking a woman out in 4 years still stands. And I really sympathized with her in the sense that she, like myself from last year, was put through this ordeal that was caused by someone else, where basically another person does something, whether that's take a loan out on a house or, decide to just basically give up on life and need somebody else to take care of them. And you have to pay the price for it. You have to you have to basically deal with the consequences of an action you did not cause. And for that reason, I was again sympathetic towards her. But as I tried to have these conversations with this individual, it, she could never tell me, like she said, they've been going for 10 years, and she just could never lay out, how do you intend to have this resolved, to no longer be in debt, to no longer, have to worry about these various things that were driving her to the point of depression. And really, I guess the issue there is, while I may be genuine in my attraction to her, my sympathy for a situation that really is not her fault. When I am talking to someone who I don't really feel likes me all that much, or at least as much as I like them, and I'm trying to get more and more involved with them, but also they're still kind of keeping me in the dark in terms of laying out a plan of how they're going to crawl out of this hole that has been dug for them. I just don't see an incentive to keep trying with her, and that was why I just said, yeah, this is going nowhere. But all these things together are just part of a recurring belief I have in terms of when you want people to do something. It could be a small thing like, hey, come to the company picnic. They'll say, oh, you'll get paid for this. Or if you want someone to do something, big, like, hey, how about you, I don't know, come and help me feed the homeless. Just there has to be some reason behind. And like, at least with the homeless thing, a lot of people will feel good internally about what they're doing. Like they'll feel like a moral high ground from performing acts of selflessness. But man, with just so many facets of, again, the rotten society, you're seeing these things where people are expected to act in the way that they did 20, 30, 40 years ago when, stuff was like normal, or at least functioning in a way that it was supposed to. But now when it's screwed up and backwards and just so undesirable, you're still supposed to function that way. Like, oh yeah, employee that we never had any issue with the performance of before, continue to act in a pleasant and or concerned about your job manner as we make it to where your job literally cannot do the one thing it's supposed to do, which is allow you to take care of yourself. Yeah, keep on performing in the same way, and don't act like we're like us cutting your hours to the point of nothing would bother you. Oh yeah, a guy that wants to have kids. Oh yeah, keep on asking out chicks, and then when they say they don't want to have kids, just keep talking to her. You might change her mind. Like, just on one last note, we like, I could do a whole separate, and this will be a separate video, but just so much unsolicited advice, right? Oh, you need to wear this. Oh, you need to look this way. Oh, you just all that stuff. And with all this different advice, the end goal, the reason you're supposed to do any of this stuff, no matter how much of it you take or don't take, is to meet this supposed romantic partner who is to your liking and supposedly live happily ever after into the sunset. But when again, from before you even try with her, hey, I don't want to have kids, and you're a person who wants to have kids, kind of having a hard time finding any reason to put up with this. But it's so interesting how they took this normal thing, and so many of them are against it. And I find that really impressive, because it's like a little subtle commentary on how the things that used to be normal, right? You go to school, and you get your degree, or maybe you work a job 40 hours a week, whatever, or meet some woman and have a family. Those things are becoming more and more rare and just very difficult to achieve or have. But then the crazier stuff, right? Some woman accusing you of being her ex-boyfriend, who's from another country on an alt account just to talk to her again because you made your account the same day that he made his, or they met in London. Just all the weird stuff. Some woman saying she's going to go see a movie with you and then standing you up at the last minute, but then she's mad at you even though she's the one that blew it up. Just all that stuff starts to get normalized by just how, again, screwed up everything is, how upside down and backwards the world truly has become. I'm going to mention this in the video. You have more people who will take issue with a video I did or what I'm wearing than a guy who hasn't talked to his son in 2 years. You have more people who are upset over a video I've made, or again, what I'm wearing, than the parent that can't feed their own child. I mean, it's ludicrous. But like, again, this is part of the rotten society. No type of quality control, no consistent moral values, just a bunch of individuals flailing at whoever they think is like an acceptable target they won't get too much pushback for messing with. it's just rotten. But this is a preview of things to come.